welcome into Half the Distance Live, your weekly barroom commentary NFL podcast. As always, I am Matty Fash, joined by Sconathan Stanton, a.k.a. Scotty Stanton, Brian the Professor, and off camera we have the great skunk hunter, Pepe Le Producer. For those of you that never joined us before, we are your weekly venture into the barroom commentary. The real, if we were drinking at a bar, how would we discuss these NFL facts? If we were drinking.
If we were
Allegedly.
at a bar.
Originally brought to you by our sheer hatred for one Joseph Buck. He is just the worst. Fuck that guy. Fuck
that
Joe
guy.
Buck.
Fuck Joe Buck.
This week we're going to discuss a few things to start out with, and then we're going to dive into our picks for who's going to win each division, who we think will be the three wildcard teams from each conference, and then who we think will actually be representing the conferences in the Super Bowls, and then make our picks for champs. After that, because this is the last Sunday till February where there ain't no football, people. So happy. We'll be discussing and making our picks for week 1 of the NFL schedule. I am so happy. So let's get it started. The Jonathan Taylor drama.
Wait, we're not going to talk about Coach Prime in college?
Coach Prime doesn't care what we think.
Coach Prime.
Because he's been there. He's been that guy.
Let's be honest. Money where his mouth is.
He did. He also put his sons where his mouth is.
Put his son where his mouth is.
And he played another kid that they brought from the HSBC played almost every offensive snap and defensive snap for like the entire game, like 119 snaps.
Yeah. Hey, beat
by the way, he
TCU.
also had like 10 catches and got an interception. So
beat
good.
TCU. Yeah. Neon Dion. Hey, respect.
Prime time, man.
But yes, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Into the NFL.
The Jonathan Taylor drama we go. He was not traded in the end. The Colts decided that the trade offers that they were given were not good enough, and they were going to keep him, and they put him on the physically unable to perform list, which keeps him off for 4 weeks.
Kind of a shitty move, but I get it.
Yep. So, turns out there was 2 teams that were very interested. Now, one of which we discussed last week, the Dolphins. Yeah. The other one turns out
was
the
understand.
Green Bay Packers, which I am still weirded out by because, like, unless they're maybe offering Aaron Jones or A.J. Dillon back,
to be honest,
they never got into specifics of what the trade offer was with the Packers. The only thing that does stand out to me is that both of these teams, it's been reported, were willing to make him one of the highest paid running backs in the league.
Really?
Yes.
Which is all that he wanted.
Yep.
And they said, fuck you.
Well, just give a little idea. I don't know what they wanted from the Packers, but from the Dolphins, the Colts wanted Jalen Waddle and some picks for a man that you don't think is worth giving a contract to be one of the highest paid running backs in the league.
But please give us Jay Waddle.
But please give us one of the best wide receivers in the league and some draft picks. Methinks the Colts were like, let's make they all right, yeah, you give us your offer. Let's hit them with an offer they'll never accept. So we'll be like, listen, we tried, Jonathan. We tried. Let's try to mend the bridge afterwards.
I don't know how you if you're Son's manager, maybe that works. But the fact that that's on the table, any good manager, any good agent is going to be like, this is what the offer was. Jalen Waddle is a $15 million a year contract, and then and I'm lowballing him because he's worth more than that, but his current contract
his current contract's rookie contract, so it's not that bad.
Yeah.
Yes, but him as a player,
argue,
and then
if Tariq Hill goes down, then it can change some shit.
Right. All right. So even if we lowball his rookie contract, he is a minimally $50 million player. I'm sorry, and that's a lowball.
Because when he needs his next contract, he will be making that much.
And
money.
as the goddamn wide receiver 2, he's a wide receiver 1 playing behind Tyreek Hill.
But they'll pay up to
he is minimum. This is, and I'm sorry you're not listing Waddle, but a $15 million contract, easy, and then picks, and then come on.
To me,
what a goddamn
the problem here is that I'm just thinking about it now because they are from the AFC South, and they remember how Bill O'Brien did trades for the Texans, and they're like, listen,
those were sound trades.
David Johnson, and a pick for DeAndre Hopkins.
Yep.
So this sounds like it should work out, right?
Yeah. Except the NFL is in full collusion mode, fucking over running backs. Full collusion.
Well, they were just so used to such a shitty GM being in Houston that they thought every other GM thought this way.
Yeah.
Nah, Jonathan Taylor is a blue chipper to the nth degree, and you're trying to be like, yeah, but if we offer him the contract, it's like $12 million.
They're not even offering that.
$10
right now.
million.
They're not offering him anything.
Right. Jalen Waddle, when he gets his contract, his next contract is a $20 million contract per year. That motherfucker is talented as shit. And somehow that's what you're gonna get now. That's like, this is where the fucking collusion is happening. We don't want to actually like put any real money on the table for running backs, but the value in trade is a $20 million trade. Bullshit, collusion, fuck straight off. Jalen Waddle is incredible. He's one of my favorite running backs to watch, and he's
Wide
a wide receiver, and he's a wide receiver too. Only because you got fucking Tyreek Hill.
No, I'm with you.
Only because you got Tyreek Hill.
He'd be WR1 on a lot of teams.
Yep.
Name more than 3 teams that he isn't a wide receiver one.
Oh, that he wouldn't be.
Wouldn't be.
Bengals, Vikings, Bills.
You just named 3 of the top wide receivers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, you said name 3.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Yeah. He's
Dolphins also.
He also, yeah.
Oh, there we
Also
go.
Dolphins. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And if Patrick, whoever on the Broncos was healthy, I mean,
No. All right.
Which one? Patrick Chan or Patrick?
Yeah.
So last week we discussed that the Cardinals had traded for Josh Dobbs, and I thought it was just a sign of Kyler Murray not being healthy. Then they cut the guy that's been their starter, presumably all offseason and in the training camp, in Colt McCoy. Turns out Josh Dobbs actually played with this coordinator before in Cleveland. He wasn't the offensive coordinator there, but he run under basically the same
He'll
offense.
know the system.
So he understands the system. So I guess in that regard it makes sense.
Yeah, but
it makes me think even
McCoy
more.
is a name.
Yeah, he's a decent. He's a good backup.
Yep.
You don't want him to be your starter.
He's the next Chase Daniels.
Yeah, but at the same time, you don't want Josh Dobbs to be your starter either.
No,
You
No,
you do
no,
not.
no.
So this actually makes me think they are tanking to get one USC quarterback. But I started thinking about our conversation last week and how much money it would cost to take on Kyler Murray's contract in cap space. And I looked into a team, and it turns out that as of now, they're stating they're going to have about $60 million in cap space, which could go up to about 80 depending on because usually the salary cap increases a bit every year on because it's all on income from ticket sales.
NFC team or AFC team?
NFC.
So I was gonna say it's definitely not the Bucks because they've got 2 years of cap hell because of Brady.
Mhm.
So it's not the Bucks.
Yep.
That actually might need a quarterback.
Yep. That has gigantic talented pieces in place already.
Saints?
Nope. They have Derek Carr for 3 years, I believe, on his contract.
Oh, that will financially need not contractually
Financially-
need a quarterback.
Yes. Could.
Uh,
You're in the right division.
The
Wait.
Titans?
No.
No, you're
Oh,
doing the
NFC.
Falcons.
NFC.
You're talking
NFC
NFC
South.
South?
Yeah.
about Falcons?
Yeah.
Oh, that does make sense.
Can Drake London is on his rookie contract. Kyle Pitts is on his rookie contract. Bijan just got drafted. They got a good offensive line.
Yeah,
They've got a pretty good
Desmond Ritter is
defense.
what, 2nd year?
Desmond Ritter going into his 2nd year.
Yeah.
That's a possibility.
So
there is a
If that
team
comes
out
to
there.
fruition, that'd be pretty fucking cool.
Right? And plus, like, any one of those guys, you think they wouldn't mind a little Kyler Murray on their team?
They
Holy
would
shit.
love Kyler Murray right now. To be honest, that would change a lot.
They would love to
In
know
my
who
mind.
their quarterback's going to be 1 week to the next.
Honestly,
Yeah, exactly.
honestly, Atlanta right
Who
now
isn't
with Kyler
39?
Murray, like I would be kind of hot on that.
Mm-hmm.
Not gonna lie. I love that actually.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't go any further after I found that team. I was like, well, that just seems like a slam dunk.
Yeah, if all the pieces fit. Yeah.
So, all right. Anywho, other little bit of news that I found interesting was the Pats cut both of their backup quarterbacks. They only had one
That
quarterback
was a smart fucking move, though.
on the team at that point.
Goddamn smart motherfucker.
And they have brought Bailey Zappi and Malik Cunningham back onto their practice squad, and also picked up Matt Corral from the Panthers onto their practice squad.
Lost nothing. Fucking strategic. Oh, man.
And you know
Well, the
what?
only difference is, though, if for some reason anybody wanted to,
Yeah.
you can pluck someone off practice squad.
Bailey Zappi, he had a couple of hot
Yeah,
weeks.
yeah.
We were pretty happy about Bailey Zappi
Yeah,
for a
he was
while.
kind of fun to watch. What, 3 games, 4 games? He started?
Yeah, he did a great job. So I wouldn't be mad if anyone snagged him, because
I think he could develop into being at least a very good backup.
at the very least, like, he had some hot games last year.
So the Cardinals might still pick him up.
They're not that smart. They're not that smart.
Yeah, I don't think so either. All right. That's kind of the fun little stuff from the week. I think we should just dive into these
Oh,
divisions and get
goodness.
to work.
Let's do our way premature.
Way,
picks.
way too early. Let's start with the AFC for
Oh.
everybody on who they think is going to win the division,
my
or the
goodness.
divisions first.
Jeez.
Who would like to go first?
I guess.
So divisions and wild card teams from the AFC.
Scott's been drinking, so a little reminder: there's only 3 wild card teams per division.
3 wildcard teams. All right.
And there's 4 divisions. in
Four
each
four
conference.
divisions.
And
Thank
only
you.
Scott needed
Carry
that
the 6.
clarified earlier. I want that on the record as well.
All right. I'm pretty sure it did walk in and say Scott is currently a liability. So
Well, why don't we let Scott go first, and then I can follow up, because that'll be the 2 dumpster fires,
Happy
and then
to.
the 2 gentlemen who are
All
going
right,
to give you
all
some
right,
good
all right.
information can wrap it up.
All right. AFC. I do have the Bills clearing away AFC.
East. Yep.
Yes. North. I have the Bengals clearing away AFC North.
So far, easy picks, right?
Easy picks. AFC South. I got the Jags.
If anyone doesn't, I'll be surprised. But Tennessee,
Yeah.
you never know. Mike Vrabel is such a good coach.
So
And the quarterback injury last year was so bad for them.
Yeah.
Sorry.
The Titans, they're still that team that, like, I know they will fuck up someone's record.
Yep.
They're gonna fuck up 3 teams' record, and I believe that, but I don't think that they have the squad.
Jags
Like,
will still come out on top.
Yeah. And then the West, I'm picking the Chiefs in the West.
Yeah.
These all feel really, really safe, and I thought longer than I wanted to about these, and I couldn't convince myself otherwise. I love a weird little upset, like, especially when I'm doing like a March Madness bracket. I love like picking, and it's like, these are so safe, and then I just couldn't talk myself out of them. So yeah, safe picks for yeah.
And who do you have for the wild card in the AFC? The 3 wild card teams.
Three wild cards. Okay. Chargers. I got Chargers in the wild card. Feel good about the Chargers.
Okay.
I like them. I'm hoping they have a great year. I think Herbert is due for really, like, hitting his skill players. Like, they had such a ugly year with injuries. Like, a good comeback for them. Love it. Okay.
It's tough.
Then the Ravens.
Okay.
Yep, I'm feeling cautious about that. They have the ability. I question the will, and I don't, or I question the will and not the ability. Sorry, or I believe in the will and not the ability. I'm not sure. Like, either way, like, the Ravens just have this ability in them these past few years to just, like, injuries or not putting it together. I don't know. But they're a wild card. It is every single piece is there. I do believe it's there.
Is there like an asterisk if Lamar gets hurt again or something?
No, because we can't talk about injuries.
Tyler Huntley was a Pro Bowl quarterback last year, sir.
I
That's how many people did not want to play in the Pro Bowl last year.
yeah. We can't talk about injuries like that. It's like there's too many, Yeah.
But I mean, when Huntley went in, you put the TV on mute and you stand really far back.
Yeah.
Fucking look like Lamar Jackson was still playing.
Lamar Jackson at 85%, 100%, 100%, 85%, whatever. All right, here's
100% of 85%.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
100% of the time.
Here's where, all right, so now my 7th team, or the third one into the wild card, and the more I look at the AFC, I'm like, fuck this. AFC is nuts. Alright, so we talk about the Titans, like, they have everything to kind of pull it together, could be alright. The West, not gonna lie, like, we have no idea what the Broncos are gonna do, but then again, are the Broncos gonna be the third team with what's already
I
going
want
on in the
them to be.
West,
I wouldn't
right?
put them down.
I struggle with that. No different than, like, in the North, like, the Steelers, I think they've got some good things going on, but are you gonna be the third team in the North? So then I go to the AFC East, which I think is a bunch of monsters, and here's where it gets tricky, because the Bills, the Jets, the Dolphins, and the Pats. The Pats, I think, are the fourth team in that cluster, but they've got some really good pieces, and it's going to make it tough.
There's
So-
always Belichick. Yeah.
So getting more than 10 wins in the AFC East is going to be difficult. And for my 7th team, I'm taking the Jets over the Dolphins. I'm putting the Jets
Really?
as the 7th squad wild card.
I like it.
I'm not sure I like it, but I'm saying it. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think maybe we'll revisit this like mid-season because I think it's obviously way too early to have like great predictions. But I
Oh, yeah,
kind of want to
yeah.
do something that I think is plausible.
Sir,
But
we were great in our predictions last
yes,
year.
we
All
all.
Sauce Gardner being the defensive rookie of the year. Other than that, I think we
Other
missed on
than that,
basically
Yeah.
everything.
Other than that,
Did
we.
you say that?
Yeah, you and I said
I
that.
said
Yeah.
that.
Other than that, we landed every plane on the predictions. But I thought this was kind of fun. I'm kind of doing a opposite of the NFC East last year. I think it's plausible, probably not likely, but it could happen that 3 teams of the AFC West get into the playoffs. Chiefs win the division. Okay. I think the Chargers, Justin Herbert and Quentin Johnson, that receiver I talked about last week, and obviously Eckler are going to have big years. And I know it's Joey Bosa is not Nick Bosa, but he's still quite a fun player.
He's still close.
And
So
I think-
close.
And Khalil Mack.
Exactly, and I think that we also something I talked about last week is if Sean Payton kind of can right the ship with the Broncos and Russell Wilson sort of gets any semblance back of who he was, I think that could happen. That would be a really fun storyline.
It-
The other wild card team,
You
and
know we don't have any membership to be in his garage,
I know,
right?
I
There's
know.
no, there's no dues.
yeah, the door's unlocked. I know where the liquor is. And then the other wild card team I have is the Jets for kind of reasons that Scott mentioned, and it's Aaron Rodgers and whatnot. And then this won't shock anybody, and I'm not going to say anything that any of y'all could say. But as far as the East, the Bills, I still think that's going to be a competitive division. But you guys know I shy away from picking the Bills, but I do believe the North.
That's because you're like fucking Eeyore when it comes to your
Yes,
football team.
I like to be hurt, and I haven't been hurt in a while since last season.
I mean, listen, it's hard to pick your team sometimes.
Yes.
Unless you're a Cowboys fan.
So the North, we talked about it 2 weeks ago. Teams that are going to take steps up. I think the Steelers are going to be there. I think the Ravens are going to be there. But I'm picking the Bengals for the North, and then the South. I don't see how I could pick against the Jags. So those are my AFC predictions, boys.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
I never made a decision on mine. Bills, Chiefs, obviously, Jags. Not obviously, but I think fairly clearly.
But I'm looking ahead. I'm sorry, but like you're about to say a team that what the fuck, man?
For which one?
The AFC North?
I think Steelers.
That's fucking wild.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to hear.
I did go back and forth. I was like, Steelers wild cards, Steelers getting the division. And I feel like, and I know a lot of people are jumping on the Jets, Aaron Rodgers bandwagon, but even him withstanding, the Jets are becoming a good team. Definitely having a veteran quarterback that knows what the fuck he's doing makes them a much better team.
That's
But
an interesting way to describe a 2-time MVP or 3-time MVP.
Yeah, but MVP with 1 Super Bowl win. Come on, you know?
All
It's
right.
not like Joe Montana MVP, you know?
All right, fair enough.
But it's tough. But I just now decided I didn't have any fun picks, so I'm going Browns. Squeak into the
What?
wild card.
Yeah, but hold on, but you have Steelers, AFC North over both Bengals and Ravens.
Yep. I think the Ravens are gonna crash and burn this year.
Okay, fine. I won't like. I think the Ravens
the Ravens will do just enough to fuck the Bengals.
I think they have a lot of pieces, but that's what I want to hear why you think the Bengals don't have it in them for 12 wins even.
I think they have it in them. I believe that Burrows and Jamar will put up fucking amazing numbers. I don't think they'll get enough wins.
All right.
They might get 12. I don't think so though.
Okay.
Like, I feel like they're going to get balanced.
Right.
It'll be a big fucking
Like,
surprise.
And to the point where they don't even make wild card.
I don't think so. Yeah.
That is a fantastic pick. I'm not gonna lie.
It could be 100% wrong. I could be 100% wrong.
I have
you know?
zero.
Like
zero.
I thought they
I'm
would
gonna
be
put
better
money
last
on my
year,
picks.
but like you think Super Bowl hangover, all that kind of shit. But I'm like, no, I think they've been working hard, but like, I don't know, and I don't know if it's coaching. I don't know if it's something on the line. Just, I'm not feeling it for them this year.
So they definitely had something super hungry 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
They came into this season and struggled again on the offensive. Sorry, last season struggled again on the offensive line for no reason. And we're like, we thought they made the right moves, blah blah blah, and then they cleaned it up and they were a powerhouse, a powerhouse.
See, they carried over.
And you think that they're like it's not even like a sophomore slump. Like they just like
Every year, there's a really good team from the previous year that does shitty. I'm saying it's them.
it's their year.
Yep.
Okay.
Normally,
Love
I pick
it.
the Cowboys, but I have a bad feeling they're going to be better this year.
I mean,
Like,
yeah.
actually win. They were good last year, and then they just fucking choke all the time.
Yeah.
I think they might not choke this time.
This is a hot take, Brian, and I really love a good hot take.
All right. All right. For mine, I also have the Bills taking the AFC East, though I think it's going to be close. I do think it's
I
going to
think
be
they
close.
used to be really tough, yeah.
As far as the AFC North, I have the Bengals, which I don't think that's any real surprise. You got Joe
No.
Burrow.
Yeah.
You've got
Jamar, Mixon.
an offensive line that's improved again. I also have Jacksonville winning the South, so no big surprise there, and the Chiefs winning the West. As far as Jacksonville goes, other than Tennessee, I don't see the Colts or the Texans in any way competing for that division. So the Titans, Mike Vrabel, he's a dangerous coach to have to go up against.
Agreed.
I actually think the Dolphins and the Jets make it to the wild card though, because
They're pulling the trifecta.
yes, I think
You
the
think-
AFC East gets 3 teams this year.
They're that strong, kind of like the AFC West. Or,
Yes.
NFC East.
Yes.
That's strong.
Last year, yeah.
Doesn't
yeah.
matter, even though they just beat each other up all fucking
Yep.
season, still so much stronger than the rest of the
Yep.
league. All right.
And I think that the Chargers are the final wild card for me. As far as the Broncos go, they're pretty much guaranteed 2 losses to the Raiders. They haven't beat them in the last 3 years. So those 2 losses alone are going to knock you down.
Maybe they just can't beat Carr.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know.
It's like paper, rock, scissors, mascara.
It's just, and then the AFC North, like the Ravens, the Steelers, the Browns, these teams are going to beat each other up bad. And I think it's going to be just a muddle of 9-8 records, 9-8, 8-9, because of beating each other up all through the season.
You don't think that's going to happen in the AFC East, though?
I think outside of their division, they're going to be able to do quite well.
So, like, most of their only losses are going to come within their own division.
In-
Also because I like the defensive moves, not just the offensive moves.
Yeah.
For the Jets, I do like the Aaron Rodgers signing. I may hate him as a player, as a Bears
Yep.
fan, but he's a very good quarterback, and you give him Garrett Wilson, so he's got a
You're just
prime
fucking happy
wide
he's out of
receiver
your
again.
division.
I am. And then with the Dolphins, and not to mention their defense is very good. You have Sauce Gardner going into his second year. You've got Quinn Williams on the defensive line. They've got a lot of pieces in place on defense. And then for the Dolphins, I think that the offense kind of does what it did last year. As long as Tua stays upright and remembers he's a quarterback after all his concussions, the offense should be fine. It's their defense, I think, is actually going to be a lot improved because I love the defensive coordinator they brought in. I love
Where was he from before?
Vic Fangio.
Yeah.
Great coordinator.
It didn't work great out as a head coach.
Not a head coach.
Excellent
but, yeah,
defensive
yeah.
coordinator. And you get Jalen Ramsey back like in week 4 or 5, and that's a huge piece for that
Yeah.
defense.
One of the things we
Expensive
talked about with
piece.
the Dolphins,
And Bradley Chubb probably gets to come back and be healthy this season too.
even if Tua has a couple of Tua timeouts,
Mike White's now their backup quarterback.
Mike White, I loved him on the Jets
Yeah,
last year.
yeah.
He
I
was
think
the
he's the-
best quarterback the Jets had. He kept that entire squad of young raw talent doing some great things.
When you're a backup, there's serviceable, good. What's slightly better than good for backup?
Average.
Nick
When
Foles
you're-
winning you a Super Bowl.
When you're Right.
That's a couple steps ahead. Yeah.
No, but look, when
But
you're
I get that sense from Mike.
when you're a
White,
backup that like
Jeff
on the
Hostetler beating the
cusp.
Bills.
Oh,
I don't know.
come on.
I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah. When you're one of those backups, it's always like, ooh, you're on the cusp of a starting position. You know, like Teddy Bridgewater after he got hurt, he was playing behind Drew Brees. Played a couple games behind Drew Brees, and it was like, ooh, Bridgewater might be back. He's still been a backup quarterback, but he was one of those where we're like,
I
ooh,
think-
I don't mind Bridgewater
I honestly think
as
in the
your
end,
backup.
what you're looking for is a Frank Reich type.
Yeah.
The kind who can orchestrate a great comeback in college and the pros. He was a fantastic backup
I
quarterback
don't
for
think
the
we've
Bills.
seen enough of Mike.
Every
White
time
to
he was
see that,
called
though.
on, he was able to produce.
But also,
Yeah.
going back to New England from earlier, we're like talking about like they put Bailey Zappi in the practice squad, and was like, which is a risk.
Like, why? Yeah.
'Cause-
yeah.
He stepped in, and we're like, we're kind of pumped about Bailey Zappi. What are we missing here that no one snatched him?
Strategic to fill up your roster.
Like-
Oh, we don't need
I mean,
you right now.
Atlanta, you could have
I'm
probably
gonna let you
grabbed-
go and
What do you-
keep you behind my back. Hope no one else sees you back
Right?
there.
And as far as the Chargers go, I think it's the offensive coordinator.
yeah,
Oh,
I think
yeah.
Kellen Moore is a huge difference for them.
Oh, big time.
Makes all the pieces work better. It's going to open up a lot of room for Austin Eckler to run. The biggest question there is, can their offensive line stay healthy? Because that was the biggest issue last year. Because Justin Herbert also broke a couple ribs last year and was playing through those.
Yeah.
So you know he's tough enough to handle it, but it'd be best not to have that happen.
Matt, I just want to say real quick about Kellen Moore. Like, I think obviously he succeeded in Dallas, but I just think he has like more sort of raw, like untapped talent, and with the Chargers, and I think they're gonna have a better offense than something he could put together with the boys.
Well, he's not under Jerry Jones' thumb.
Exactly.
So, you know.
So I think that'll be very interesting to see
Yep.
what happens.
Let Kellen Moore cook, baby.
Yeah.
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 All right, so I'll jump into my NFC predictions, and then we'll get to y'all. For the East, I do have the Eagles winning it.
Shocker.
For the North, I have Detroit. For the South, I have the Saints. And for the West, I have Seattle.
Oh,
Really?
that's a fun pick.
I'm not mad at that.
I like
mad at that either.
everything
Yeah.
Seattle has done in the last
Yeah.
2 drafts. Their off-season moves. In the last draft, they not only got a starting cornerback in the 5th round, they also drafted 2 starting offensive tackles.
Yeah.
They got a good linebacker. They got a rotational pass rusher. This past draft, they managed to add another cornerback to the team. Last year's draft, they also took Walker in the 2nd round, who was their
Yeah.
starting running back at the end of the season.
He's a
This year,
fucking
they took
stud.
Zach Charbonnet in the 2nd round, who can step in and be a goal line back and a pass catcher. You got a lot of talent there at wideout. And drafted Jackson Smith and Jigba to be your 3rd wideout to go with DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. They're building a San Francisco-style team
Yeah.
where the
Yeah.
quarterback isn't going to be maybe the best quarterback on earth, but everything else around you is going to be good.
The quarterback who was the most accurate last year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And I
Oh,
also-
and by the way, like to 2 good wide receivers
Mhm.
and Jackson Smith and Gigba, whatever. If he turns out to who he is, pushes Tyler Lockett out.
Yep.
I mean, think
You
about
think
that.
so?
Well, no. Eventually.
But like, if he is that
Not
guy,
this season.
Oh.
right. But think about that. You have a kid who's playing his way into like bumping Tyler Lockett, like someone who's
Yeah.
fighting for that position. And by the way, I like Tyler Lockett, especially goal line. You know, DK Metcalf, he's the wide receiver 1. He's got that.
Tyler,
like,
I don't know why he does so well in some cases. Like, he's not a big guy, and he will fall down
Yeah.
the minute he catches the ball.
If he just develops into just their main slot guy,
Oh, yeah, right.
that's not a bad way to like stay on to the sunset.
Yep,
Do that
yep.
for the next 6 years.
Right,
you
yeah.
know?
Tyler Lockett's gonna get like 8 to 10 touchdowns, and you're gonna be like, I helped you get there,
Yeah.
but I'm here for next year. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
keep
yeah,
me around. I'll
I-
keep collecting Super Bowl rings. We keep making this happen.
Yeah, right.
So that's what I thought there. As far as the wild card goes, I do have the 49ers making the wild card.
Okay.
I do have the Cowboys in the wild card.
Yeah.
And I went straight homer.
Cowboys.
Straight homer on my last wild card pick. I said the Bears just barely make it in.
Straight homer?
Homer pick.
How's that a homer pick?
It means that I'm picking my team.
Oh, okay.
I have no real
wait,
reason.
Never heard that before.
Wait, we're allowed to make really bad picks because we're fans of them?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I almost picked the Bears to make the wild card just to piss him off.
I didn't know we're allowed to make shitty picks just because we like the team.
I can add Little Giants to your wild card team.
That'd be. I'd appreciate
Not
that.
the New York Giants, the Little
Yeah,
Giants.
I'd actually appreciate that.
They
I had
probably
no-
will run the annexation of Puerto Rico with their wide receiver group this year.
Yeah, I had no idea we're allowed to be like terrible because.
Though
we're
I do
a
like
team,
Darren
so-
Waller being added to the team. No, I think the Bears did enough on offense to improve there. I think the offensive line
I
went
think they
better.
could be the surprise team of the year. I really do.
Honestly, the team that would worry me the most for the wild card spot is the Packers. And it's not that I don't think Jordan Love is going to step in and be another Hall of Famer, but the rest of that team is really good. They got a great offensive line. They got a great defense. We've talked about it before.
Can they do it without Lazard? I don't know.
Yeah. You mean 4-year, $40 million Lazard? Boy, being friends with Aaron Rodgers just makes people
it
money.
pays off,
It
yeah.
does.
He's got to be his ayahuasca hookup. No, I need Lazard in New York with me.
Yeah.
Why?
So
I
that's
just do.
that is my NFC predictions.
All right.
Who wants to go next?
I'll jump into it. All right. NFC East. I'm going with the Eagles. Though I'm not as high on the Eagles as I would have been midway through last year.
Interesting.
But I still think they're the best NFC team. NFC North, Detroit. Last week I already said that Detroit takes that, and Dan Campbell is my coach of the year. I do think that. Well, first of all, as much I just want it to happen. I just love what's going on there. I love the attitude. I love all
I
those
would love
things.
to see them clinch the
But at the
division,
same
yeah.
time, I think that the North is not overly strong. They've got a lot of turmoil, and Detroit is the most determined and the most put together right now. While the Packers are trying to figure shit out, Minnesota, as much as their offense is really intriguing, their defense is questionable, though I do love their new defensive coordinator. I think he's awesome. But there was so many things that their offense was so close on losing last year, and I think competition's going to be that much better. So I'm going to come back to the North in a second. The South, I've got the Saints. That being said, like, the Panthers are fun and the Falcons are fun.
The Falcons are fun.
I think the
If
Saints
Desmond Ritter can play just
just
average,
right.
just average
Like,
NFL player,
I thought I saw
that could
you
be a
cash
really
check from
fun
Chick-fil-A
offense.
The other day.
So sorry. Like none of it
Sir,
takes.
that is direct competition for a business of his.
None of it. Like the Saints.
Go to the Whiskey Coop, Saga's Harbor, New York.
Much
Not a
better
sponsor.
drink. Much better
Not-
drink.
not- the Saints. And here's the crazy thing: the Saints were a fucking mess last year.
Yep.
That
No
still
one
found
knew
ways
what
to
they
win
were.
sometimes, though.
They still found ways to win.
Yeah, they didn't know who they were.
No.
Alvin Kamara gets 25 carries this game, 5 the next. Like, there was no semblance of knowing what they were doing.
I'm really like I think that a good QB. I like Derek Carr. I like
I
Derek
liked
Carr.
it especially in New Orleans.
Especially
Yeah,
there.
I
Well, his
did.
eyeshadow
I was gonna say,
makes
is
it
it- is
far
his
better on
eyeliner?
Bourbon Street.
It's
Yeah.
perfect for Mardi Gras.
Mardi Gras ready, baby.
He's
I-
gonna switch to dark purple eyeliner.
Although Jamal Williams was not a big fan of the what's the fried dough that they have there?
Oh yeah.
Beignets.
The
Oh,
beignets. He's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
it's fried dough.
Which it is. But,
It is,
you know,
yeah.
Well, no, not us patterns.
Right. So outside of Alvin Kamara, they got Jamal Williams. I'm sorry, what?
Whoa.
You just
That
want
is-
to see all the post game interviews.
Hey.
That is like one of the dopest 1-2 running back team squads.
And don't forget about 35-year-old Jimmy Graham, who hasn't played in 2 years.
Hey,
Okay.
If he only
Okay.
plays like 10 snaps a game, I'm gonna watch. Those 10
Listen,
snaps,
when they're on the
you
goal
know?
line and need to throw for a pass, I think he knows how to get open still.
He
He
can
can
still
still
jump,
body
he's still got that
somebody out.
reach, yeah,
He
yeah.
he had a fucking great snag in preseason, and I will never take that away from
That was
him.
very
It was
pretty,
nice.
Nice.
It was nice. So I got the Saints, but I also think that there's some fun things going on in the South. In the NFC West, I have the 49ers.
Check
As right. And I'm gonna segue into the
Get your wild card
Seahawks
picks.
because they're a wild card team, and I like the 49ers need Brock Purdy to be him. Right? Which that's who he was last year. They need that squad to be healthy.
They need
If
Bosa to
They
play.
and again, you can only make these picks on who's healthy, but beyond all that, Brock Purdy needs to be the guy that he was to finish last year. It needs to take that step up. That's the squad to beat as far as I'm concerned. But everything Matt said about the Seahawks, fuck, right?
Yeah.
Like, holy shit. So, but I just couldn't make that. I couldn't pick Seahawks over 49ers because I think their squad, with all those offensive weapons and just enough on defense, if everyone clips along the way they're supposed to, they are so goddamn good. So yeah, Seahawks would be my first wildcard team. My second wildcard team is Dallas. I think they're scary on offense. I think they're really scary on defense. We talked a bunch about Micah Parsons last week, and he's just one of,
We haven't even mentioned Diggs
right
at cornerback.
Yeah. Dallas is scary on defense, and their offense is definitely plentiful. So I can't not include them. And last year, the NFC had 3 teams, including my Giants, and I cannot talk myself into including the Giants. And this is where it got weird, because I think the South have some fun teams. I think the Panthers can be disruptive. I think the Falcons are going to, ruin a couple teams' day. They're not going to be prepared, and they've got some guys that are just going to, put up insane numbers and be like, we thought past them and shame on us.
Well, and Arthur Smith was the offensive coordinator for the Titans, which means he learned a bit from Mike Vrabel.
Yep.
Well,
Mike
you
Vrabel
hope- you hope.
always had
Yeah.
that team. You hope he did.
You hope, yeah.
You hope he somehow learned how Mike Vrabel had that team always ready
You
to
were
play.
taking notes, right,
Right.
motherfucker?
Yeah.
So in the same vein, I think the South, they're going to be disruptive. Internally, they're going to be disruptive, outside of their little grouping. The same kind of thing going on with the NFC North. So I've got Detroit taking the division, but I'm going with the Vikings for my last spot. I do not love this.
Really?
I do not love it. I struggled a lot for my 7th team because the Packers, we don't know what the fuck is going on. They still have some good pieces from last year. We have no idea what Jordan Love's going to do. But
Yeah, we really don't. We have no idea.
no idea.
Yeah.
The Bears, I'm really interested in what the Bears are doing, because it's such a fun offensive brain that Eberflus has.
Well,
and
his
he's
offensive coordinators.
okay. Whatever.
Just being honest.
So he has an offensive brain. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I like the squad that was built. I think the North is also going to be oddly disruptive. They're going to have some losses, and you're like, it's the Pack. They're struggling. It's the Bears. They're struggling. And then the next week you're like, they fucking who is this team? Watch out. So I struggled a lot with the North, but with that, I think the Vikings, their offense is just going to be just enough from last year, not to be as good as it was last year, but enough. And then Brian Flores keeps their defense into a better position from last year, and that gives the Vikings the 7th spot for the
Just eke it in there.
playoffs. Just eking in there. I think the NFC is kind of fun this year. Kind of fun.
Eric,
Want me to go? Sure.
NFC picks?
I don't think I'm going to say anything. Well, maybe I'll say one or two things that haven't said. NFC East, like you guys, we talked about it last week, but I picked Hurts to be the MVP. So I'm going with the Eagles. I just think they're well coached. They have a lot of weapons. I do have faith in Jalen Hurts. Assuming Jalen Carter out of Georgia is even half of what he's projected to be, that's going to be
True.
really solid D
Yeah.
lineman.
Yeah.
I don't think the NFC is a slacker division, but I still just think the Eagles are the team to beat.
They still, at least on paper, have the best offensive line in football.
yes.
Yeah.
Jalen Carter, who was the top fucking draft.
He could have been the number 1 overall draft pick.
and
Talent-wise.
If
and-
people weren't pussies about their draft picks.
yeah, but he's probably not even going to be rookie of the year because he's on the Eagles.
Yeah.
And he's surrounded by defensive talent. That's gonna how crazy their
But
defense is.
for him, how perfect is that?
Oh,
I
yeah,
get
no,
to learn from these guys who are also pretty young.
Right.
You know?
Which but that's what makes it terrifying. he might not even be the defensive player of the year, defensive rookie of the year, because he's on that squad. That's how
Yeah.
terrifying they are.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and then,
Win an award, win a Super Bowl. Which would you prefer? Come on.
True.
You know?
True.
Yeah.
True.
yes.
Both.
Yeah, why not? That doesn't have to be
True.
mutually
This is
exclusive.
true, yeah.
NFC North, also, I'm going to pick the Lions. Same reason a lot of you guys do, but they won 8 of their last 10 games. We talked about Vrabel always has the boys ready to play. Dan Campbell always has the boys ready to play.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
Jared Goff is just fine. They just seem to be everything seemed to be clicking at the end of the season. And if they can carry any of that momentum into this year, I really think that's kind of their division for the taking if they want it. We'll see what happens, obviously. NFC South, this was sort of like a proverbial coin flip between the Saints and the Falcons, but I picked the Falcons. I think Bijan Robinson hopefully
I
is
like
going to
it,
live
though.
up to
He
the
could be
hype.
fucking
I like
amazing.
it.
Who
Yep,
knows?
yep,
I think,
yep.
like Matt said, Arthur is a good coach. If he picked up anything from Vrabel, he'll hopefully have those boys ready to play.
And that defense is kind of sneaky.
Their defense is kind
The
of
defensive
sneaky.
backs are good.
We talked about Kyle Pitts. I think hopefully last week is another player that's going to take a step up.
Yep.
He
And
needs
they're
to,
playing in a
yeah.
weak division, and whatever quarterback play rolls out there can't be any worse than Mariota. So put me down for that. That's
Yeah.
but like I said, it was sort of a
It can
coin.
be as bad.
Right,
It'd
but
be
it
hard
could-
to be worse.
it's hard to be worse. So that's my thought behind that.
The only thing that can be worse is like Nathan Peterman in his first start.
Hey,
ever.
hey, hey.
And 3 of those interceptions weren't even his fault.
Yeah.
That was still impressive on his behalf. NFC
You know, in
West.
his half, you mean?
Yes.
It
Yes.
was 5 and 1/2. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. NFC West, it's hard to go against Shanahan and the 49ers. If Brock Purdy comes back healthy, they have so many guys with Kittle and Debo, and I blew their defense basically last week talking about how good they are with Fred Warner, assuming Bosa plays, obviously. I just think that is a very safe pick if, sort of the things go right for them. As far as NFC wildcard teams, I still think the Vikings are going to be good. You still have one of the best receivers in the league. Kirk Cousins is still going to be fine, except for in primetime games. So I think they'll get that wild card. Second choice, put me down for the Rams. I think Matt Stafford sort of has a bounce back year of sorts. I still think Sean McVay is just a fine coach.
I'm not mad at that. That was a tough one, just because Niners, Seahawks, Rams. You know what I mean? Like,
right. So
but if they come back
You don't think the
strong, they're
Cardinals?
gonna be.
it's just I guess and I said it earlier. I hope we
I
revisit
don't even
this.
know any Arizona fans.
I hope we revisit this
I don't
sort
know a
of
single one.
halfway into the season, but these are like my knee-jerk reactions, but like with some thought behind it. So that's 2 out of 3. And for the third one, also put me down for the boys. The defense is just
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
And if Dak is kind of okay and Tony Pollard has a decent season, stays healthy, like I could see that being very plausible. So those are my 3 wild cards.
There's something crazy about. Sorry, Brian. There's something crazy about the teams we're talking about that are average quarterbacks, but a fucking squad. 49ers, Seahawks, Detroit.
Yeah.
And we keep
The opposite of the AFC.
We keep talking about Atlanta like they could sneak in and be that same kind of thing. We have no idea. Like Desmond Ridder is just average. There's some fun school. Like you could be super disruptive.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Bryce Young in Carolina as a rookie. If you can just be average, there's some fun teammates that can be disruptive. Teams that are
Well, how
average
good could his rookie
quarterbacks.
year be if he had DJ Moore?
Oh my god, dude! Actually, to be honest,
Thanks, Carolina.
Yeah.
To be honest, if he had DJ Moore, I would probably take the Panthers over the Saints. But like this crazy thing about these squads that are 50% average quarterbacks,
Yeah.
and everyone else is just a monster.
Yep.
The 49er, Seattle is doing exactly that. Geno Smith, like I would say, is the best of that bunch.
Yeah.
Like what he did last year was so good.
Pete Carroll's system.
Right?
Doesn't
Right?
expect more than you're capable of for
Yep.
any individual player.
Yep.
Yeah.
And surround you with just fantastic players.
Yeah.
Huh? Who you
I
got
think,
for your
yeah,
picks?
so yeah.
So I changed, and Matt was probably watching me delete and retype and delete and retype.
Uh-huh.
Because I'm always looking for reasons for the Niners and the Cowboys to not make the postseason. So I'm saying Eagles, no big surprise there. Lions in the north. I like the Panthers. Panthers in the south.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
They're fun to watch. I mean, watching them fucking watch the team get slowly dismantled week by week, and they still found ways to win. It's just so fun to watch that
We're-
shit. You know.
We're also due for a rookie quarterback to have a good season. Trevor Lawrence was, the fucking second coming.
He had a
And
good rookie
His
season.
rookie
He
season
had
was
Urban
rough.
Meyer as a head coach.
He had
And
a
that's
his
not on him.
He
you
was
know?
given a bad
Yeah.
situation.
his rookie season wasn't good. His sophomore season last year, we're like, there he is.
I'm sure Trevor Lawrence had more lap dances than any rookie in NFL history.
Yeah, we're
Urban Meyer paid for
Because
him.
of Urban Meyer, yeah.
and I'm sure they were handsome. But like now we're like, okay, we see what he is. To see a rookie have a playoff team, we're due. And not that I need it to come from Alabama, but like we're due, and I think that's where Carolina's at right now.
They're going to come from Alabama or Georgia. Come
I
on,
would
you know?
try, yeah. Unless you're Stetson
Will not be
Bennett.
Stetson Bennett.
Oh,
The
God,
third.
no, yeah.
Yeah.
And originally for the West, I had the Niners. And the more we talked, I'm like, you know what? Brock Purdy has not been truly tested yet. In all the interviews,
He wanted to get some very
all
weak
the game
defenses
tape
at the
I've
end of the
seen,
season.
I'm like, what if he has
Not
that
the Cowboys,
setback
but-
year? Like, I think he's still a really good young quarterback. I think he's really good and young. I don't think last year was a fluke. I think he'll do just fine in the NFL. But I feel like now the pressure's on.
Mm-hmm.
Now that they've jumped out the rest of the quarterback room, and he's like, it's all on me now, huh? And I think mentally he can take it, but I think when it comes down to it, that crunch time, he's not going to be as crisp as when, fucking no worries. I'm
You-
Mr. Irrelevant.
You were
Big
number
fucking whoop if I
3.
throw this and it
Oh
gets
yeah.
intercepted,
You were
you know?
number 3.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, all I can do is make myself look good. And now he's like, oh, fuck, looking down the mountain instead of up at it.
Plus, at this point, they've got, what, 7 or 8 games worth of film?
Yeah, they got some film on him now, which always makes
Which, like,
a
Jordan
difference.
Love might look very good at the beginning of the year.
Yep.
And then, like, 5 games in, like, now we got tape.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
now
That's
it's,
usually when the defense is really hammered
Yep,
down on people.
yep. Like, okay, now we've seen 18 schemes. Okay,
And
okay,
it-
we're good, you know?
Yeah.
it is almost like a pro thing or a boost to that quarterback. Like the defense is like, we have nothing to study, but by week 4, if you're kind of wishy-washy, which Jordan Love very well
You
might be,
might,
they're
yeah.
like, we kind of got you dialed in, and we're gonna see what you actually can do now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that made me bounce the Niners from winning the division. So for more wild cards, I picked the Vikings and the Rams because I'm not on the Viking bandwagon. The Vikings are that weird team. We've talked about this for fucking 4 years, probably. You know,
Mhm.
that it's like they don't get respect, but they also don't really earn it.
Their offense does.
Their offense
Some
does,
weeks.
and it's like when they actually worked on the defense this draft and this offseason a little bit. I'm like all those
Yeah. That first round pick came around, they're like, man, our defense is bad. We're going to take Jordan Addison, wide receiver, USC.
I know.
because we need someone else to throw to besides
Yeah.
Jefferson. Like, come on, you know.
I tell you what, though, with him, Justin Jefferson, and TJ Hawkinson,
It could be. And,
that's a
and-
nice
but-
little
and
group.
I
Also,
love
and
big tight
KJ Osborne
ends.
is your third
And
wide
Osborne-
receiver.
Okay,
and I
yeah.
do wonder if the Vikings are like, we're going to try to win games 40-30, and that is going to be our model.
But I think there's
Yeah.
there's always a team that's good that consistently makes the playoffs or gets
Yeah.
really close at
Yeah.
least. And out of nowhere, like, wait, you're looking at the record books, like, wait, they won a Super Bowl? I think the Vikings might be that team.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if it's this year.
I
But
know, but
I think they're,
I
they're on
understand
the
what you're
precipice,
saying.
you know?
Yeah.
If that quarterback could shed his I can't win in primetime by winning a Super Bowl as a wild card team, that'd be amazing.
But again, like, it's not he can't win. Defense doesn't perform in prime time. It's not just him.
nor
you
did
know?
he.
Well, nor did
Well,
he.
also,
yeah.
but-
his stats do take a
Listen,
noticeable dive.
he does take
you
a
know?
hit, and you can blame it on the defense. But when he is in prime time on Thanksgiving, you can't lose 40-3 and be
Yeah.
like, "Oh, that's all the D."
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Come on, defense.
yeah.
But then, so, okay, now I find a reason to bounce the Niners and the Cowboys, and you guys convinced me. The Saints. I think Carr's going to do great things in New Orleans, and I want to see it happen. I want to see a playoffs that does not have the Niners or the Cowboys. So, yeah.
Like
Vikings,
it,
Rams,
like
too.
One of the very
Alright.
few of the last, 40 years.
Yep.
Mhm,
Yep.
mhm.
All
Okay.
right.
All right. So, very quickly, because we need to get into our picks, who are the Super Bowl matchups for y'all?
All right, I'll jump in. AFC, I've got Bengals versus Chargers.
Oh, you actually did the AFC
I got
game?
championship
Oh, we
game.
did.
Yep.
Championship game.
I did
all right,
not do that.
Fair,
So-
fair enough. I got Bengals versus Chargers, and I got Chargers going to the championship. I have Detroit being fucking sneaky.
Really?
Getting their way through the playoffs, but losing to the 49ers. I have 49ers Chargers in the playoffs.
California.
Oh, that would fucking
California,
love that.
California, and Herbert getting a ring.
Oh,
Herbert
Okay.
getting a ring. Yeah.
interesting.
I'll hop
Go
in
ahead.
real quick because I'm gonna.
yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so I have a fun pick and a serious pick, but my fun pick is still like something I think could happen. I just couldn't help myself. My fun pick, the Lions versus the Chargers. And I also have the Chargers getting a ring in that matchup. I think that's a plausible thing. And my serious pick, and I know I say I don't pick them, Bills Eagles.
Oh.
With who winning?
The Bills.
Listen, Bills Eagles is a huge Super Bowl. Like that is a big money Super Bowl. My Super Bowl kind of sucks for ad revenue. Bills Eagles, even though they're both East Coast, is such a bigger Super Bowl.
So
I think
I'm
it's perfect. West Coast.
I
Super
am
Bowl,
picking the Bills.
East Coast Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But if that did come because it's me, I'm sure the Bills would find a way to blow it. But I still think that would just
Oh,
be
there it is,
such
there it
a
is.
compelling Super Bowl.
There's
Dude, that's
that Bills Mafia.
Yeah.
It's gonna
I-
cost us in the end,
Dude,
boys.
that is probably one of the biggest Super Bowls
Yes,
out there.
that would
for
be
sure.
insane. Bills,
That-
Bills, Eagles. Put me down for it. Bills.
Yeah, that's huge.
Okay.
Love it. Love it.
You guys go.
I want to change my picks just because I just looked up where the Super Bowl is going to be next year.
Where?
A LA or a California Super Bowl matchup in Vegas would be fucking insane. I mean, not as much as if
Wait,
it was in LA.
The
Where's-
game's
where-
in Vegas.
It's in
it's
Vegas.
in Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
There'll be no bets made.
They built the stadium for that sole purpose,
Yeah.
so it makes sense,
Yeah.
But I'm saying Bills Eagles. Bills.
All right. For me, out of the NFC, I have the Eagles and Seattle playing for it.
Yeah.
And in the AFC, I've got the Bengals and KC. And I say Seattle versus KC in the Super Bowl. And I say for the greatest, go from being complete bust and thrown out of New York, Geno Smith
Geno Smith.
gets himself a Super Bowl win because I
Hey.
love what Seattle has done with everything else around
And
him.
Pete Carroll is a goddamn coach.
And
Great
is this
coach.
a bit of a pipe dream? Sure. But I don't want to do a boring pick. KC is a boring pick, but until you knock the champs off, they're the champs.
yeah.
The NFC is where I think it's actually very interesting because, yeah, you have Jalen Hurts, you have Dak Prescott, probably the top two quarterbacks, I'd say, in the division or conference.
Top two in the. Yeah, well, I mean, like.
I'm too biased. I will never say Dak Prescott is a top three.
Well,
quarterback.
who's
For the
well,
NFC, though.
for the NFC? Like, who are you gonna put
You
above
flop
him?
in Kirk Cousins to that Cowboys team.
Or would you? Could you?
They
You have all the same choking.
I was like stat wise.
Oh,
pretty fucking equivalent.
Oh, yeah, pretty equivalent.
There-
It's
Yeah.
equivalent choking as well.
There is actually a standing Super Bowl quarterback in the NFC.
This is true.
He choked the fuck last year and then hurt himself. The Rams.
No, Stafford, yeah.
Stafford. But is Stafford a better QB than Hurts or
Not at this point in
or
his
Mr.
career.
Interception?
At this point in his career, his back's a little messed up. So, yeah, I would really like to,
He's got a ring.
for teams that I don't root for at all, I'm going to root for Seattle in this one.
That's fun. That's
It's
fun.
just a fun pick, I think.
Hell yeah.
All right. Skunk Hunter has wandered off right when we get to our picks. We'll have to come back to his. But let's get started. Let's discuss, first of all, the very first game of the season that I actually won't be able to watch because I'll be at a concert on Thursday, but that's okay.
Oh fuck, that is Thursday. Yeah.
Yep, we'll be watching The Boss, Bruce Springsteen, at the Dome in Syracuse. I'm looking very much forward to this. However, Detroit travels to Kansas City for the first game of the season. If there's one thing I learned from looking up statistics on the Detroit Lions last year, it's that away from their dome, Goff didn't play too well.
This is true.
And their Detroit defense was kind of shitty last year. Kansas City.
I'm going KC. KC is the 6.5 point favorite. I really want it to be closer than 6.5. But yeah, KC. But I really hope Detroit can just hang in. More importantly, I think Detroit needs a loss to start the season to do what I want them to do. A loss to KC will be the best thing they have going for them. So, for that reason, also KC.
I think the opposite.
Oh,
I-
yeah, baby.
I think Detroit wins week 1 in Kansas City, fucking sets them off on a great trajectory for the season. Not they won't get cocky about it. They'll be like, this is what we can do. We can beat the reigning Super Bowl champions. We can do this. Maybe not twice, but we can do,
I'm going to echo everything you said. I picked the Lions for the same reasons because, as we said, Dan Campbell's going to have those boys ready to play. And I think that the moment's not going to be too big for them based off of what I was saying, how they finished the season last year, how they're being coached. I think it might light a fire under the Chiefs, and the Chiefs could do very well Chiefs things. But I think the Lions are going to come out ready to play, and they're going to win a close game in
even if
Arrowhead.
they lose a close game, it's still Campbell going, yeah, the NFL set us up to lose.
Okay, so
We just proved we can hang on that
Yeah,
field.
right,
today.
so
So
I-
either way, unless they get blown out, they can turn it
I
into
guess-
a good thing.
also agreeing with Matt on that, I think that's also plausible. But I guess to sum it up, I want the Lions to win. I'm picking them, but I will say I think the Lions are going to come to play regardless,
Yeah.
whether that might be a
Yeah.
close loss or not.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay.
So you're saying KC?
No, I'm picking the Lions,
Okay,
but I'm
okay.
saying even if they do lose, I think that's going to be a hard-fought game, and the Lions are still going to have shown up.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, first game of Sunday, and I guess I'm just going to have to sleep for like 3 hours Sunday when I get off of work and just start watching football.
You'll be
'cause
all right.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
The first week.
I can't wait. I'll go without sleep. Carolina travels to Atlanta. Bijan Robinson making his rookie debut. Bryce Young making his rookie debut. In this case, it's nothing against Bryce Young, in my opinion. It's just, I think, rookie quarterback, first game. I think Atlanta takes this one. They're favored by 3.5. I'd say they win by about a
4.
touchdown.
Yeah, same. I think that Carolina will get going. Atlanta has too many great skill players, and yeah, Atlanta by a touchdown.
Over under 25 touches for Bijan Robinson in the first game.
I'd say you
But-
could put it right around 25, but I would go maybe 1 or 2 over.
Because they still have Algier. They still have
I'd say
Cordell
about 18.
Patterson. I think
Like,
18.
Sure,
don't
okay.
push him
18
too hard.
rushes? I'm talking about with catches also.
Yeah.
Like just touches.
No, only a couple of passes, like 20.
Okay.
About
Okay.
20. Yeah.
Okay. I was just curious what y'all's thoughts were.
Yeah, but
Just-
don't
you don't wanna-
again, Kyle Pitts. That they need
And
to get
Algier,
him to-
who last year as a rookie set the
Well-
Falcons' rookie rushing record.
Both
They
teams
gotta
have to
get the
test
ball.
out a lot of pieces in week 1. So
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I think equal distribution
Yeah.
for fucking
Yeah.
everyone. Yeah.
Okay.
I also picked the Falcons. I think, yeah, it's very well going to be a 1-score game, but same thing. Like, I think Matt said Bijan Robinson kind of guessed in his touches. I think he'll be around 25, maybe 1 or 2 over. I think Kyle Pitts will have a nice game. It's obvious we're going to see what the quarterbacks do, but I'm with Matt picking the Falcons, but I think it's going to be a 1-score game. So
I'm picking the Panthers.
Any reason?
No,
Just like it?
I just like it.
All right,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Yeah,
I can't argue that.
coin flip. Yeah,
All right, Cincinnati travels to Cleveland, where they are a 1.5 favorite, which I'm assuming this means that people have decided that they're just going to write B next to it, so it works out for anybody, Bengals or Browns.
yes,
when I looked at it
I was thinking Bengals and Cleveland.
when I looked at it yesterday, it was 2.5 points. Is it down to?
I don't know. I printed this off a couple days ago. I don't really
Alright.
care about the spread. I'm more about picking winners in this.
Yeah.
For this, I'm not saying that he who shall not be named at quarterback for the Browns is going to be back to his Houston days, but I think he will be better. It's just, I think Cincinnati, if Joe Burrow plays, which is somewhat questionable still
Yeah.
because of the calf strain,
Yeah.
with Orlando Brown Jr. now at tackle also, with the improvements they made at the offensive line last year also, yeah, from the Chiefs.
Who's the Cincinnati backup?
no idea.
I'll look into that in a second. I still think that Cincinnati has enough on offense. They can hand the ball off to Joe Mixon. They've got 3 great wide receivers. I think Cincinnati takes that game.
I have Cincinnati, and now that our fun auto draft
There you go.
giant PPR league decided to give me Deshaun Watson for a goddamn quarterback.
Real quick, Brandon Allen is the backup.
That's
Okay.
right. That's right.
I'm still would never gonna cheer for him. I'm still going Cincinnati. I think they got the edge again. Like it all depends. Healthy squad, yeah. But that being said, no Joe Burrow.
There's as of now. Listen,
Yeah.
and they may have just said like you're just sitting out for the preseason anyway. You're fine.
Right, yeah. But yeah, Joe Burrow is really fun to watch.
Yep.
He's exactly the kind of personality that we love in the NFL.
Yeah, he's brash, but not so over the top that
Yeah.
it's annoying.
Yeah, yep,
He is.
yep.
Plus, I respect anyone that enjoys a good cigar after a victory.
Yes.
And then you know what? And he puts up those numbers. He delivers. He's a good QB.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm Cincy on this one. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Burrow ever showboats, but if you even thought he did, guess what? He backs it the fuck up.
Yep.
And
yep.
I think really that I can't imagine he won't go if he's even 75%. Put me down for the Bengals.
And even though he wasn't really injured last year, he just didn't have a great year by his standards. I think Joe Mixon probably could have been someone we mentioned in a
Yeah.
kind of a comeback player of the
Yep,
year.
and
I
I'm-
think
I think it's
he's gonna have a
possible.
resurgence here.
Yeah.
No Samaje Perine helped. Samaje
Oh,
Perine,
yeah.
very
Yeah,
underrated
so
player
was
for the
Thunder.
Broncos, by
Yeah.
6 foot, 240
I'm
pounds.
glad they picked him
that
up.
can
I'll take
catch.
it. Yeah.
Oh my
What
god.
the hell, man?
I like.
I
him
had
a
no
lot
idea how
last
big
year.
he was, so I was watching him against the Bills or someone. I was like, I had to look up his height and weight.
Muscle is lean, but it weighs a lot.
He was so good last year. Sneaky
Yeah,
good.
that was a great pickup by the Broncos. Anyway, we'll talk about them in a minute. Jacksonville travels to Indianapolis. Jacksonville is only favored by 3.5, which I think is
5. They're 5
Is it
now.
5? I was
Yeah.
gonna say that's a great disservice.
They're yeah. I looked yesterday. They're
Okay.
5. They're 5.
I say Jacksonville wins this. I'm not even putting it into question. If Jonathan
Done.
Taylor was there, it might be good for Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson can run the ball very well. I'm not arguing that. He's got a cannon of an arm. He's going to make some wow throws, but consistency is what wins you games
Yep.
in the NFL at quarterback.
You got to learn that. Yeah.
You have to. He's not going to. I mean, I looked it up. He was 54% passing last year in college.
Well, college stats are tough because they just air it out every fucking time.
Yeah, but you're also playing against Tallahassee Junior College.
A lot of games,
You
it's
know,
true,
like.
yeah.
But I think Jacksonville starts off their run for dominating the South here.
Jacksonville done.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Any different thoughts there, Eric?
No.
Okay. We'll jump into Tampa Bay at Minnesota. This is actually going back to the old NFC Central days. Tampa Bay making a trip
Yeah,
up to
yeah.
play one of their old division teams.
So, all right. I think Tampa Bay has zero chance, but also to really nail that in, Ryan Jensen being out again. What a great center. And I love good players playing good football, and he's such a good center. And a huge loss for Jacksonville.
Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay, sorry. Huge
They're not
loss.
that far.
Yeah, right.
Huge.
Huge.
Scott, I want to give you credit. You're doing amazingly well for drinking around noon today.
No.
All throughout the day.
It was later than that. I also didn't eat. So,
1:30.
Around noon. No, it was like 12:15. It's
like
way
12:15,
later.
way later.
Jensen being hurt, that is a huge thing. Baker Mayfield needs someone like Ryan Jensen, and without him, fuck. Yeah. I feel really
It's
bad
too
for
bad
Tampa
because
Bay.
you have Mike Evans and you have Godwin, but at the same time, back in the day, he had Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry when they were in their primes.
Yep.
And he still really didn't get a lot done with them.
And it's going to be such a bummer if Mike Evans, who is adamant, give me my paycheck, I want to be a Buccaneer for life, and they're like, I don't know. I'm like, this motherfucker can go 10 seasons, 1,000 yards. If you bring him on, he can be your guy. He's that good. And they're fucking around, and that sucks too. So,
Yep.
yeah, no, Minnesota by a ton.
Yes.
So I was just saying, I think this is going to be one of the week 1 overreaction games where the Vikings are just going to beat the brakes off the Bucks, and everyone's going to be like, "Holy shit, the Vikings!" And we're
no
all
one ever talks about the Vikings. Look at them now.
and I got to say, I think we're all guilty of it. I know I am. Very early season.
Everyone
overreactions.
overreacts to the
I
first
think we're all
season
guilty
game,
of it.
yeah.
So I think the Vikings are really going to just put on a show, and then they will inevitably kind of come back down to earth and settle into the team they're going to be for the season. Which I still think is a wild card team, but I think they're going to come back to earth.
Yeah.
Okay, and one of the more interesting games of the day, I think, Tennessee travels to New Orleans to take on the Saints. This is a tough one for me because I really like Carr and Olave. If Michael Thomas is healthy, that could be very interesting. The Saints have some very good pieces there. And I had actually picked New Orleans before, but I'm already hedging that, and I'm going to
Really?
change it and go Tennessee wins this.
So I'm sticking with New Orleans because even though Kamara is suspended, they have
Jamal Williams.
Jamal Williams, who is an electric running back. who is
Great goal line running back too.
No,
17 or 18 touchdowns last
he
year.
is
for
he
the
is he is
Lions.
no slouch no slouch on running. So like, I think they got the squad. I don't think it's going to be a blowout because Tennessee is scary no matter what.
I'm very interested to see what DeAndre Hopkins off of play action where Derrick Henry was the one that they were faking the ball
Right,
to. Looks
right.
like.
Yeah.
But I'm sticking with New Orleans. I think they're the team for sure. So.
Matt said the reason why I'm picking the Titans. This was more or less like 6 one way, half dozen the other kind of thing. But DeAndre Hopkins. I hope he has a good season and he's still DeAndre Hopkins. So
Yep,
I think that could be the X factor. Put me down for Tennessee.
Not a guy that ever just played off of his speed. Like, he was always.
And even if he doesn't have
The
a
fact that
great
his
game,
hands are about. I mean, his fingers. If you add a 16-ounce beer can to my fingers, it's
Yeah.
about the size of his hands.
or
Like,
even if he doesn't have a great game by Hop standards, maybe he's double teamed so excessively that something else is opened up for the running game or the passing game. So
A couple miracle catches that
Yeah.
the QB should never have thrown,
right.
but he caught him anyways.
Right. So
Oh,
that's
yeah.
that's my thinking.
See, everything you're saying just now, and also he said it earlier, is why I think the Saints are going to win.
Olave.
I think the phrase Karlave is going to become a thing this year.
Oh yeah, yep.
It just rolls off the tongue.
Chris
you know?
Olave was so
Yep.
fucking good last year.
Yep.
And now you give him a real quarterback. He knows this is his quarterback.
Consistent.
Consistent.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, Karlave. That's going to
There you
happen
go.
all season
Love
long.
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Love it.
I actually like that a lot too. Which takes us into the game that I am still actually trying to figure out who I think is going to win. San Francisco traveling to Pittsburgh. And it's because Bosa's not playing that I'm like, fuck.
That makes a big
If
difference.
Bosa was there, I would say 49ers. And it's nothing against the Steelers players. But if you don't have Bosa there, it means that offensive line that is kind of young and still kind of getting its shit together doesn't have to worry about, I don't know, you could make an argument, the best pass rusher in the league. And I like what Pittsburgh has on the offensive side, too. And I like T.J. Watt coming off the edge. I don't really know. 49ers have someone that's supposed to be replacing Mike McGlinchey at right tackle. They say they're like, we can win with him. It's not like a ringing endorsement saying we can win with him.
But the first, 5 weeks last season, they were losing tackles every fucking week.
Yeah.
You know? Not
So-
a good sign. Yeah.
I'm going to go Pittsburgh wins at home over them. I say Kenny Pickett to Pickens. Has a couple big plays. Deontay Johnson does what he does and catches 8 balls for 95 yards. And Najee Harris has a good game, and Jalen Warren probably comes in and has 2 splash plays, and they ended up winning.
See, I say San Fran comes out strong and wins this one. And everyone was like, yeah, just like last year, we're picking up right where we left off. And they're not going to. But they win this one. Yeah.
Pitt overperforms. San Fran underperforms. Pitt takes it for me.
I'm picking that kind of for the same reasons as Scott, but I'm also picking this because I think it's going to be a raucous crowd in Pittsburgh, and put me down for Pittsburgh.
The Cardinals go to Washington and lose.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I just say
Done.
everyone's prediction
Done.
out loud?
Put me
Done.
down for that.
Next.
Put me down
Next.
for that.
Put me down for that next.
Okay, wait. All you guys Cardinals? Here's my hot take for week 1.
We're not Cardinals. We're saying Washington wins.
Oh, you're saying Washington wins.
Oh
Okay.
yeah. Come on.
Yeah.
No.
Cardinals travel there. Cardinals did go there.
Week 1 tie.
Oh, Brian, you son of a bitch.
You love to throw a tie out
And
there.
that ruins every prediction for 9 fucking
Yeah.
weeks. You
Yeah.
know, that a week 1 tie would destroy every stat line
If
in
you're in
Vegas,
one of those
you
pick'em
know?
leagues where every week you have to pick a different team to win, you can almost go all season and say whoever the Cardinals are playing has got a really good chance.
Yeah.
And Washington
And that tie's gonna fuck you
Washington
up.
and New York had a tie last year, and that's what got New York Giants
Yeah,
into
let
the
them squeak in
playoffs.
there, yeah.
It's just I think offensive coordinator coming from the Chiefs. I think that Washington's got a lot to prove. I think that McLaurin, and if he's back healthy for this week, Jahan Dotson,
Oh, they're clearly
Curtis
the better
Samuel.
team.
I think
Clearly, yeah.
I think Washington has all the
Yeah,
pieces.
yeah.
I am very interested in watching their quarterback too. I
Yeah.
think it's going to be fascinating to see if he can play or not in the
Yep.
league.
Yeah.
Because we've only seen one game for him, and that was against Dallas, and he did play pretty well. Okay. The Texans travel to Baltimore and lose to the Ravens. I
Done.
don't know if I'm saying that for everybody here. or not.
Ravens by a lot.
If you're wondering why I'm predicting that, look at Houston's squad. And I'm not
But-
trying to be mean.
But I'm gonna love Houston's grit. They're going to fight to the bitter end, but Baltimore's going to smoke them.
They will sack Lamar 3 times.
Ooh. Down.
And lose like 54 to 10.
Well,
but sack them 3 times.
The only thing I want to say about this game is I'm with you boys. I have Baltimore. I think they're going to kind of like go through some growing pains with Zay and whatnot. But I will say about Houston, I think D'Amico Ryan is going to have that team like actually giving a fuck.
Lovie Smith had him giving a fuck too.
It's going to be in a loss, but I think D'Amico Ryan's going to have that
pick.
team giving a shit.
They're filling the Rooney rule the last 3 years. All 3 years, they're picking a non-white candidate to be head coach, but they're only giving him 1 year. They better give D'Amico Ryans 3 to 4 years to right this ship. If they don't, shame on you, Houston, and I hope you never win a fucking thing.
And I get the management thing of like Lovie Smith, like you were temporary anyway, and then you cost us the #1 pick on purpose to win a game.
And
how dare
walking
you?
out that door, he's like, fuck
Yep.
you.
I did what I was hired to fucking do. Fuck you guys.
He
Yeah.
Hats
played
off
to
to Lovie
win.
Smith.
I love
Yep.
that guy.
Love that
still
guy.
am angry at the Bears for actually having fired him. What a piece of shit.
When the Bears had no fucking talent.
He was
Let's blame
the
Lovie
best
Smith.
coach
Whoa.
the Bears have had in
Sexy
my
Rexy?
lifetime, and I will say that above Mike Ditka. Mike Ditka had a better team that he got to win a Super Bowl with.
Sexy Rexy threw the nicest looking interception in the league. In
He really did. It was a beautiful spiral right in other people's arms.
Straight to the corner.
All right, Green Bay travels to Chicago. Going to be a weird thing for Green Bay. This will be the first time since I was in junior high that it hasn't been Brett Favre or Aaron Rodgers at quarterback.
That is wild.
to start the season.
That is wild.
And I'm
Matt
46.
Matt, you're gonna pick last on this one.
That's fair.
I am gonna take Chicago.
All right. Money well spent to get him to say that.
Only because Jordan Love. I don't know what to think about him. I have no fucking idea. But everything that I saw the Bears finish last year with, and every addition they added, I like it. I have no Jordan Love could be like just a sleeper that's been
He could be a
sitting for
third-straight
4
Green Bay
years.
MVP. You never know.
Right? But you know what? I'm going Bears. I think it's going to be one of the best openers that the Bears have celebrated in a while.
Was it the Niners with the opening game last year?
It was last year.
That slosh
And a
fest?
complete and
Yeah.
utter
Right.
hurricane
It
of
didn't.
water almost.
That one didn't feel good.
I
know
think
it
the
didn't.
first quarter is going to be really fucking
Oh, it felt
weird.
good.
Oh, yeah.
For me.
A win always feels good.
A win always feels good, especially when your team gets
Yeah.
3 of them. We started 2-1 last season.
Yeah. And
I did 3 and 14. Holy shit, that hurt.
So I'm going to agree and disagree with Scott. And this is not me pandering to Maddie. I'm also picking the Bears. But I think it will be a big win for the Bears, but I don't think it'll be like a convincing or like impressive win. I think it's going to be a hard-fought, ugly game win. And I think Jordan Love, it's the first time he's kind of thrown into the fire, and maybe it'll be a learning experience, and maybe it'll be something he builds off of. But I do believe in Justin, and just put me down for the Bears. I think it's gonna be a sloppy game, but I'm going Chicago.
WWJD?
Yes.
What would Justin do?
Yes.
Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon are going to have big games
They are.
in the first half.
Yep.
And they're going to fall behind, and it's like, now it's on Jordan Love's arm. And it's like, if they fall behind, that's where it gets weird, because those are fucking awesome running backs. Awesome running backs.
I think we'll see almost 4 100-yard rushers.
Ooh.
I think that's actually a good bet.
2 apiece for each game.
I think,
Yeah.
Justin
kick
Fields is going to be
returners.
close. I think Khalil
Yep.
Herbert will be close, and I think, yes, A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones
But I
could
feel
have
like by the
close to 100.
4th quarter, Justin Fields will be like, wait a minute. This is what quarterback protection feels like. I have time to take a secondary read? You know?
So we're going to be without our starting left guard. Tevin
Oh.
Jenkins is out, but that means that Whitehair moves over from center, and Lucas Patrick, who used to play for the Packers, who we brought in last year to
Ooh.
start at center.
Oh, that's a good
Will be our
just
starting
for the
center.
knowledge, that's a good pickup.
Yes. So I am doing the homer thing, and I am picking Chicago. I actually do truly believe it this year, though, that
I mean,
we can
we all
beat the
are
Packers.
anyway, it's okay.
We already had Aaron Rodgers, who, and yes, he wasn't lying, he did own the Bears. I think we won like 5 or 6 games against him in his time. He was such a phenomenal quarterback, and that's the last time I'm going to say really nice things about him. But I do think we win. I don't think it'll be by a lot. I'd say about 3 points. I think it'll be a close game, but I think it'll be one that we win.
Yeah.
Vegas travels to Denver, and in my opinion, gets their 7th straight win against Denver. Not saying Denver plays badly. I actually think that Russell Wilson shows up and plays much better than he did last year, especially to start the season. However, I don't know why Denver, for some reason, cannot win versus the Vegas Raiders in the last 3 years. I have no idea what's causing that.
Because the Broncos have been garbage the last 3 years.
There's that. I think Devontae Adams gets a couple touchdowns in this, and I think they end up beating Denver by about 2 points. I don't think it's going to be by much at all.
I think Devontae Adams gets touchdowns in the end of the game because they've got to air the ball out. But it's going to be a close game, and that's playing catch up. That's playing catch up. If he gets 2, it's playing catch up. No, I got Denver. Like I just think they're feeling kind of sweet right now. Maybe it's just Sean Payton is in my mind like a good coach, and Russell Wilson like can play in that system. I know that the wide receivers are thin.
If Judy's back, that'd be a huge bonus.
Still a possibility.
Yeah.
Judy!
But I think that Denver's defense is still a good squad, and running backs in Denver is solid.
Yeah.
Denver takes it.
So I'm going Denver. Russell Wilson, thus far this preseason, he's not riding. He's not doing unlimited things, but he's going to have like 3 touchdowns, 1 pick, and kind of start his upward trajectory again.
All passing? 3?
Well, maybe he'll run. I think 3-1, maybe he runs for 1, but he hasn't had any horrible, cringy videos on Twitter, or X, excuse me. Put me down for Denver.
All right, Philadelphia travels to New England.
Excuse me, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry. Have you not made your choice?
Denver.
My bad.
Because Sean Payton right away, so like, yeah, Russell Wilson, your little crew here that's not part of this team, get the fuck out of here.
Smart move, by
First
the
thing
way.
you need to do.
Yeah.
Yep.
Smart move.
Get all that unlimited shit the fuck out of there. Yep.
Unlimited. Oh, just crazy.
And I can't pick them to lose against AFC West Vegas week 1. You know, I just can't.
That's fair. Philadelphia travels to New England. In my opinion, this is Philadelphia getting some of the bad taste out of their mouth from having lost that Super Bowl. I don't know what the spread is currently on this game.
3.5 actually.
It's not enough. I think Philadelphia wins by about 14 points. New England's got some interesting pieces. I like Ramondre Stevenson at running back. I think Ezekiel Elliott is a great second back to come off the bench, especially goal line area. I think he adds a lot. But I don't really know what you have at wideout. I don't know what Bill O'Brien's offense is going to look like. Defense, I think, will be pretty good because it is Bill Belichick.
Yep.
But Philadelphia, I think, is going to come out and be like, fuck this. Get back to doing what we do and just manhandles New England.
I think the problem is that New England, if they get down, don't have the ability with their wideouts, as you were saying. Like, that's the problem, is like they can't stretch their legs. Their running back game is fun. I like Ramondre Stevenson. Zeke is, come on, he's talent.
Yeah,
He's
comeback player of the year.
He's talent. But Ramondre being like the RB1 is definitely the better
late
option.
game,
I
yeah.
like him a
Well,
lot.
Zeke knowing his place, too.
Well,
Like,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
fine. He knows
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
the backup.
Yeah, I know. So, yeah, but like Ramondre Stevenson can go get like a fucking like 120 yards, and Zeke can have 2 touchdowns and 40 yards. You know what I mean? Like okay, like if that's gonna get you the win, but if you fall behind, they don't have the wideout game. So I Philly like by only a touchdown. I don't think it's gonna be a blowout. Only a touchdown. But I don't think New England can keep up.
I think Belichick's gonna have a press conference he is gonna hate because Philadelphia is gonna just shit all over New England. So yeah.
All right, in one of the more fascinating matchups, Miami travels to the L.A. to play the Chargers. This is great.
Yes.
Like, this is the type of offensive
Should be
game
a
you
good
want to
game.
watch, I
Should
think.
be, yeah.
I think in the end, the fact that Jalen Ramsey is hurt and not able to play this week is probably the deciding factor here in the fact that the Chargers defensive backs are able to take advantage a little bit of Miami's secondary because of it. and I think that the Chargers win this one. I would say by about 4 points.
I agree. Amazing game. I still think Chargers. I mean, the Chargers are more prepared, I think. More consistency from last year.
I mean, I'm hot on the Chargers. I've got them as a big playoff champs and Super Bowl champs. That's obviously early picks, but I'm high on them for sure. Miami is going to be scary for anyone they play because, like, their running backs are good. Their wide receivers are incredible. Tua is an average quarterback at this point, and all he has to do is be average. And he's got the squad around him, but man, I don't know. I like the Chargers.
Yeah.
They're due. They're due.
So as a whole, I like the Chargers like as a team, but just for the sake of Week 1 and the talent that Miami does have, like you're sort of getting into the season. Put me down for Miami goes on the road and squeaks out a win.
Ooh, nice.
I just want a good game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, the Rams travel to Seattle. For everything I've already talked about with Seattle is exactly why I think they win. Also, Cooper Kupp. Hammy's not exactly healthy.
Yeah.
Without Cooper Kupp, that's part of
he
the
won't
engine that
have
drives
to play.
that offense.
Yeah.
I think Seattle wins that one.
I if this was a week 4, Cup is back. I want to have that conversation again, but like without that, Seattle just consistency. Seattle.
Yeah.
Seattle by a touchdown.
A Pete Carroll team, Week 1. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
going to win.
Yeah.
Eric?
Put me down for the Chargers. Or, excuse me, the Rams. Cooper Kupp's coming back. I think he's going to have a big game in his return.
He's not
I don't
back.
think.
He's not coming
He's
back
not
week 1?
supposed to play
Yeah,
Never
yeah,
mind
yeah,
then.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
still going with the Chargers.
They
though.
haven't ruled him out, but everything points to fuck him.
Okay, I thought he's coming back week 1. Excuse me, guys. But I'm still going with the Rams. I think Matt Stafford's Matt Stafford. Geno Smith is good, don't get me wrong. But I don't know. I just like him.
Cool.
All right, the Sunday night game.
Yes.
The first Sunday night game in 4 years where you get to watch your Giants play, I think.
True. That is
That was
very
the first
true.
Sunday night in 4 years that Dallas was playing.
Dallas,
No, no.
yeah, Dallas gets to travel to New Jersey to take
Yeah.
on a New York team.
Yeah.
This is 2 playoff teams from last year.
Technically.
Yep. The Giants won a game in the playoffs last year too. They brought in Waller in the offseason. He's been making a lot of splash plays at practice and in the preseason. Dallas is fucking loaded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
Dallas's defense scares the fuck out of
Yeah.
me. The Giants' offense is trying to pull it together. They're doing some good things, but I'm picking Dallas to win.
Scotty, you're picking Dallas. I'm picking New York.
Great, thank you. Dallas's defense is so good, and the Giants' offense needs to get it together. Like Wan'Dale Robinson, who showed some flashes last year, is still a little injured, and he's like wide receiver 3 anyways. Oh, and by the way, I'm hoping he can work himself into more wide receiver spots, but like he's behind like Paris and
There's a few.
Slayton? No,
Yeah.
not Slayton. Yeah, I know Slayton.
Slayton,
Yeah. Come on now.
I'm picking Dallas also. I think Dayball does have this team and getting the right feel about that team. I think he's done a good job with the culture. I just think in this situation, Dallas is going to win that game.
Their defense is good. Defense
Really
is
is.
good.
Yeah, I would love to see the Giants win because fuck Dallas.
Fuck
but I
Dallas.
I can't imagine. I know both teams are going to be rusty, but like we've all said, like Dallas just has so many skill players, whether it's on offense or defense, and I had to imagine them getting this one.
Okay, that takes us into the Monday night game. Eric's Buffalo Bills, the great skunk hunter, is going to tell us now why the Jets will win, I guess. That's what he usually does.
I am.
Hybrid.
I literally am going to tell you why. I have the Bills going to the Super Bowl and winning the Super Bowl. I don't know. I think they have so many expectations and so much hype around them that they're going to come out like kind of shaky. And the Jets, they have a squad. They have Aaron Rodgers. They obviously have expectations, but they don't really have as much to lose or riding on this. So I think the Bills are going to win when they play later in the season, but actually put me down for the Jets for this one in a close, kind of ugly game.
Okay. Scotty?
The Jets need work. I think they're going to be fun to watch. They've got so many great players that I enjoyed the fuck out of last year. Brees Hall's not. If he's back, he's not. I don't know that he's like.
I don't think he's truly 100%.
I don't think.
But
yeah,
Dalvin
yeah,
Cook's
yeah.
an interesting guy to come
But
off
yeah,
the bench.
they drop in Dalvin Cook. I don't know that I'm convinced that they're the team to take out Buffalo. I think Buffalo is a much more complete team. The Jets are going to be fun. They're gonna build themselves into very disruptive. But it's the Bills week 1 over the Jets. But I am here for that game. Oh my God, I want that to be fun.
You know, it's
Oh,
kinda
I hope
crazy.
it's fireworks.
New
Yeah.
Jersey has no football team, yet they get the Sunday night game and the Monday night game.
Yeah.
Fascinating. Although I still say the one single New York team wins this game.
All right.
Fair
I say
enough.
Buffalo wins this. And it's actually more because of the offensive line for New York. I think that the Jets' offensive line is not quite sinking yet, based on what I've seen on Hard Knocks anyway. I like a lot of the pieces that Buffalo has. I'm not sure what they're doing at linebacker. What they had with Jermaine Edmonds going to the Bears was a big loss. For
Yeah.
them.
Yes.
But I think Stephon Diggs has made a lot of noise all offseason, and it's about time to feed your wide receiver to make him happy. I see Josh Allen and Diggs with a couple touchdowns. I think Josh Allen does Josh Allen things also. I would say this is going to be a pretty close game, though. I'm actually going to give a score to this one. I will say 35 to 31.
Oh, that's a
I-
great game.
You know what? I'd really like Dawson Knox at tight end. I like him, but they're
Dalton Kincaid.
I wonder like if they bring in Kincaid, I'm like maybe not week 1, but like I'm curious what he can do at tight end.
I will be shocked
You know?
if he doesn't get some snaps.
I hope he does. I'm curious. He's fun.
Well, more and more teams are going to that multi-tight end setups anyway,
Uh-huh,
so
uh-huh.
why not?
Yep.
Well-
yep. And he doesn't seem to mind hitting people.
And
Right?
we will,
Dawson Knox, I don't think he's great at hitting people.
and we can save this
The
topic for.
Patriots were great with two tight end sets. Granted, it was Gronk and a murderer, but two tight end sets can be very
Yeah,
effective if you
yeah.
have two good pass catching tight ends.
The
which is
Swamp
what both
Kings
those guys were,
documentary-
and it's what both these guys are.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Swamp Kings documentary would have you think otherwise. And we can save this topic for later, but Scott and I spent about 20 minutes talking about tight end play in the NFL, and I think that would be a great topic for later in the season.
True.
So I think the Bills will handily win this one. I think it'll be close. It'll be a blowout, but I think the Bills will win it. But specifically, I have to pick the Bills because looking ahead, week to week to week to week, this is the only week where it's likely all 4 of our teams could win.
That's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
There's 2 other weeks where it's like, oh, maybe
The bye week.
maybe the bye week.
Well, the Giants are the wild card in this one to beat
They-
You
Dallas.
know what?
Yeah,
You know what?
yeah,
You know what?
yeah.
I can't change the Giants to pick because I just don't think it'll happen.
Yeah.
But you've convinced me to take Denver over the Raiders. Just
So
for
yeah,
that.
do the flip flop.
So I'm gonna say Denver instead of Las Vegas now, which basically just assures that Denver's gonna lose. But I'm doing
Probably,
it for you, bud.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
love it, love it.
All right, so that's our picks for the week. The next time we talk to y'all, there will have been real NFL football played. That'll be next Sunday, 8 o'clock. It will be at the beginning of the game. We fully realize that. You know what? Start the game. Turn the volume down. Throw us up on your computer on YouTube. Anything you want to talk about, we'll be talking about the games before we get into the next week's picks. We're going to go over anything that happened that day that we find is interesting or fascinating, or from Thursday for that matter.
Yeah.
So come check us out. It's on YouTube. Half the Distance Live starts at 8 o'clock every Sunday night during the football season. If you just want to listen to the podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, again, Half the Distance Live. If you like the podcast, give us a like, give us a follow, leave a review. Tell us what we're doing right, tell us what we're doing wrong. Give us a topic to talk about that you want to hear discussed. That'd be a lot of fun too.
Well, we can talk about mostly the previous week and then what we missed on Sunday and Monday, and yeah.
And you know, we're going to make our way too early predictions for games for the next week.
Yeah.
Love it.
Be a lot of fun. Any last thoughts from anybody else before we let this go to wait for real football to discuss?
All I want to say is football is back, boys.
Fucking A.
It's palpable. It's in the air.
It's right
It's
there.
in the air.
It is.
You spell that pig skin.
All right. Well, thanks for coming in to listen to us. We really appreciate it. Again, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, give us a like, give us a follow. And we will see you next Sunday. Oh my God, I cannot wait. Have a wonderful evening. Cheers from your favorite barroom commentary group. Have a
Cheers,
wonderful
boys.
week.